What if the life you are living right now is nothing more than a mirror, one that reflects not the world itself, but the hidden image you hold within your own soul? There was once a traveler who stood before a lake at dawn. The water was calm, silent, and perfectly still. When he smiled, the reflection smiled back. When he frowned, the reflection frowned. At first he thought it was obvious, just a simple mirror of his movements. But then he noticed something unsettling. When his heart was restless, even if his face tried to pretend calm, the waters trembled. The reflection betrayed not just his gestures, but the very essence of what he carried inside. Isn't this what happens in our own lives? We search desperately outside for answers, for money, for love, for recognition, yet the world keeps echoing back the beliefs we whisper to ourselves in silence. I am not enough. I am not capable. I am not worthy. And reality, like that loyal lake, simply says, so be it. This is the hidden truth most people never dare to confront. The outer world is not the cause, but the consequence. Every challenge, every repeated pattern, every closed door, they are reflections of something unspoken within. And until we dare to look into that inner mirror, nothing will truly change. But here lies the mystery that can shift everything. If the mirror never lies, then what happens when you change the image standing before it? What if altering your inner identity could bend reality itself, just like light bends when it passes through glass? The answer to that question may disturb you, because it requires you to face parts of yourself you've tried to ignore. Yet it may also liberate you, because once you understand this principle, the rules of the game of life will never be the same again. Have you ever wondered why certain patterns seem to haunt your life, no matter how much effort you put into changing them? Perhaps you've noticed it in the quiet hours of the night, when sleep finally comes, only to be disturbed by the same dream repeating itself over and over again. A faceless figure calling your name, a door you can never open, a room that always feels familiar, though you've never been there before. You wake up with your heart racing, convinced it was only a dream, yet deep down you know it was something more. Or maybe you've caught yourself staring at the clock, only to see the same numbers staring back at you. 11:11, 3:33, 4:44. At first, you laughed it off. Coincidence, you told yourself. But then it kept happening, day after day, week after week, until the numbers began to feel like whispers from a realm just beyond your reach. A language you were never taught, but somehow always understood. Some of you feel it in your body, a sudden chill in an empty room, a tightness in your chest for no reason, goosebumps running down your arms when no one has touched you. Doctors may call it stress, fatigue, or imbalance, but your soul knows better. It is as if your inner self is trying to send a message to your waking mind, begging you to pay attention before it is too late. And then there are the moments you can't explain to anyone. The phone rings and you already know who it is. You think of a person you haven't seen in years, and suddenly they appear in your life. You sense danger just seconds before it unfolds, as though your spirit walked the path ahead of you and returned with a warning. We are trained to dismiss these signs, to silence them, to bury them under the noise of technology, deadlines, and endless responsibilities. Society tells us it's just coincidence. Stop imagining things, focus on what is real. And so you try to convince yourself that you are imagining it all. Yet late at night, when the world grows quiet, you can't help but feel the weight of those moments pressing against your heart. Because what if it isn't coincidence? What if reality itself is speaking to you in a hidden language, a language of mirrors, reflections, and echoes of the soul? Every dream, every repeated number, every strange sensation in your body might not be random at all. They could be fragments of a map designed specifically for you. A code that, once deciphered, reveals not only who you are, but what you are meant to become. Think about it. How many times have you brushed aside the very signs that could have changed your path? How many opportunities slipped away because you told yourself, "It's nothing, I'm imagining things," when in truth, your spirit was guiding you toward transformation? This is the pain so many carry, the sense of being trapped in cycles that make no sense, chasing answers outside while ignoring the sacred signals within. You are not alone in this confusion. Humanity has always stood at the edge of the mirror, gazing into reflections it does not fully understand. But if reality is truly a mirror, then these signs are not accidents. They are messages waiting to be acknowledged, a secret dialogue between your inner world and the universe itself. The question is, when you see the signs, when you hear the whispers, feel the chills, dream the same dream again and again, are you willing to look closer at what they are trying to reveal? There is a reason the ancients always spoke of signs. They knew that the world does not speak with words, but with reflections. And among all the mysterious signals that reach us, there is one that stands above the rest, one that has echoed through sacred texts, mystical traditions, and spiritual awakenings across the centuries. It is the signal of repetition. When something repeats in your life, whether it is a number, a dream, a phrase you hear from different people in the same week, it is not mere coincidence. It is reality itself pressing against the glass of your consciousness, demanding to be seen. In ancient Hebrew thought, repetition was a way God marked emphasis. In the book of Genesis, when Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams, he says, "The dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice because the thing is established by God." Repetition was not chance, it was confirmation. But what is the deeper meaning? Why does the universe repeat itself in your path? The hidden teaching is this: repetition is the language of alignment. It shows you where your inner world and outer world are colliding, where your belief is so strong, positive or negative, that reality itself cannot help but mirror it back to you again and again. Think of the numbers that keep appearing in your life. 1111, 333, 777. In modern spirituality, many call them angel numbers. But beyond the labels, they are reminders of a timeless truth. Your thoughts are seeds, and your reality is the harvest. When you see those repeating numbers, it is as though the universe is holding up a signpost saying, "Pay attention. Your inner image is solidifying, and soon the mirror will reflect it fully." Imagine a woman who constantly sees 2:22 on the clock. At first she laughs, but then she notices that every time she sees it, she is worrying about being alone. Slowly, she realizes the mirror of reality is amplifying her inner dialogue. "I will always be alone." The repetition is not punishing her, it is revealing what she has planted in her own soil. Only when she dares to change that inner belief, whispering instead, "I am loved, I am connected, I am never abandoned," does the reflection begin to shift. This principle is not new. Ancient Egyptian initiates believed that the gods spoke through patterns. Mystics of the early Christian desert said the same. Pay attention to what repeats, for God speaks twice when the heart refuses to listen once. And even in modern psychology, we speak of recurring patterns in relationships and choices. Different language, same mirror. Here lies the first great secret: the mirror never lies. If you see a repeated sign, whether numbers, faces, or even illnesses, you are looking at the echo of your own unspoken truth. The world is not doing this to you, it is doing this for you. Because only by recognizing the repetition can you choose to alter the image you place before the mirror. And perhaps this is why Jesus himself so often began his teachings with the words, "Truly, truly, I say to you." That double truth was not a stylistic flourish, it was a mirror, a way of anchoring a truth so deeply that it echoed beyond the words into the heart. When truth repeats, it roots, and when it roots, it manifests. So, what does this mean for your life right now? It means you must become a careful observer of the signs that echo around you. Write down the numbers you see. Record the dreams that return again and again. Pay attention to the words that seem to follow you from different mouths. Each repetition is like a chisel striking stone, carving your reality from the unseen into the seen. The question is, are you aware of what image is being carved? Or are you asleep, allowing unconscious beliefs to be repeated until they harden into chains? The repetition you see is not random. It is your soul shouting. It is reality holding up a mirror so close that you can no longer ignore it. And the deeper mystery is this. Once you learn to listen to repetition, you will realize that reality has been whispering to you all along. This is the beginning of mastery, the first true key of the mirror principle. Not to fear the signs, not to dismiss them, but to claim them, because in claiming them, you reclaim the power you unknowingly gave away. And if you've felt this truth stir something inside you, take a moment now, like this video, subscribe, and join this community. Not a community of chance, but of seekers, those who refuse to ignore the hidden language of reality. Because here, we are not just watching life pass by, we are learning to read its secret code, but repetition is only the doorway. Beyond it lies something even more challenging, more unsettling, the confrontation with the hidden reflection you've avoided for years. And until you face it, the mirror will never stop showing it back to you. Her name was Anna. On the surface, she looked like anyone else. A quiet woman in her late 30s, living in a small apartment, working long hours at a job that drained her spirit more than it sustained her life. But there was a hidden ache inside her, a question she never voiced aloud. Why does everything feel like it's against me? Why does life never change? Every morning, Anna would wake up to the same routine. The hum of traffic outside, the bitter taste of coffee that never seemed strong enough, the cold silence of an empty kitchen. And then, one day, something unusual began to happen. She started seeing the number 444 everywhere, on her receipts, on digital clocks, even spray painted on the side of a building she passed every day. At first, she brushed it off, thinking her mind was just playing tricks on her. But as the days passed, it became impossible to ignore. One evening, exhausted, she collapsed onto her bed without turning off the light. Her phone buzzed with a notification. The time glowed, 4:44 a.m. She felt her heart pound, as if invisible hands had knocked on the door of her soul. She sat upright, suddenly alert. A thought echoed within her. This is not an accident. This is a message. That night, her dreams grew vivid. She saw herself standing in front of a mirror. At first, it was just her reflection, but slowly, the image shifted. She saw a younger version of herself, eyes wide with hope, standing tall, radiant. Then, the reflection darkened. Her current self appeared, tired, defeated, shoulders bent. She woke with tears streaming down her face. The next day, still shaken, Anna searched for the meaning of 444. She discovered something that felt like lightning striking her chest. In many traditions, the number was considered a sign of protection, a call from the universe to trust the path, to rebuild the inner foundation before the outer life could change. It was as if reality itself had reached across the veil and whispered, "You are not abandoned. You are being rebuilt." From that day forward, Anna began to live differently. She no longer dismissed the signs. When fear told her she wasn't good enough, she remembered the mirror from her dream, the younger, radiant self waiting to be reclaimed. She started writing affirmations on sticky notes, posting them around her apartment. "I am guided. I am protected. I am worthy." Slowly, her inner dialogue shifted, and reality responded. Within weeks, her boss unexpectedly offered her a chance to lead a small project, a project that drew on her creativity, something she had nearly forgotten she had. Soon, people she hadn't spoken to in years reappeared, offering support and opportunities. For the first time in a long time, Anna felt a spark. Maybe I am not trapped. Maybe life is reflecting something new. The signs did not stop. Sometimes she would feel chills when entering a room, and moments later receive news that confirmed her intuition. Other times, she would dream of conversations that unfolded the very next day. Each sign became a thread, pulling her closer to the truth she had resisted for so long, that reality was not against her, it was mirroring her, and the mirror had been waiting all along for her to change the image she was projecting. Anna's story is not just hers. It belongs to all who have ever felt the nudge of the unseen, the numbers, the dreams, the sensations. They are not random, they are doorways. And when you walk through them, when you allow yourself to listen, your life begins to unfold in ways that once seemed impossible. And now, I want to turn to you. Have you ever felt a sign like Anna did? A repeated number, a dream that returned again and again, a sensation in your body that seemed to whisper a warning or a promise? Share it with us in the comments. This community is a circle of seekers, and your story might be the very spark that helps someone else recognize their own sign. I read what you write, and in future videos, I may even mention your name and experience, because your voice matters, your journey matters, and together we are learning to read the hidden language of reality. But Anna's journey did not end with the signs. The mirror principle was about to reveal something far more powerful, something that would test her deepest fears and challenge the very foundation of who she believed she was. If repetition is the first language of the mirror, then synchronicity is its second, and this sign is often so subtle, so seamless, that many dismiss it as coincidence. Yet, synchronicity is no accident. It is the quiet hand of the unseen weaving threads together to reveal meaning in the very fabric of your life. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, once said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." He meant that when inner truths align with outer events, life produces encounters so precise, so uncanny, that they feel orchestrated. And they are. Think about the times this has happened to you. Perhaps you were struggling with a decision, asking yourself silently whether you should leave a job, a relationship, a city. Then, within hours, you stumbled across a book whose first page spoke directly to your dilemma. Or a stranger in line at a cafe used words that echoed the very thoughts in your heart. These are not accidents, they are mirrors, reflections of your inner state appearing outwardly to guide you. Synchronicity is the universe's way of saying, "I hear you, I see you, and here is your answer." But here is the deeper secret most never realize. Synchronicity doesn't just happen, it responds. When your inner world reaches a state of openness, when your thoughts, emotions, and longings vibrate in harmony, you become like a beacon. Reality itself bends to meet you, offering confirmation, direction, and sometimes even warnings. Consider this story. A man named Elias was on the verge of giving up on his dream of becoming an artist. He told himself it was foolish, impractical. That night, walking home, he passed a bookstore where a single book had been placed in the window, facing outward. "It is never too late to create." He froze, trembling. The next morning, a friend he hadn't spoken to in years called him out of nowhere, reminding him of the paintings he once shared in college and asking if he still created. 2 signs in less than 24 hours. He realized reality itself was reflecting his inner struggle and urging him forward. Elias returned to his art, and within a year, his work was being exhibited. That was no coincidence, it was a mirror speaking. So how can you begin to recognize synchronicity more clearly? Here is a simple practice you can apply starting today. Set an intention. Each morning before stepping into your day, pause, close your eyes and ask, Universe, mirror, show me what I need to see today. Don't force it, just open yourself to the possibility. Observe without dismissing. Pay attention to these small accidents, the conversation you overhear, the ad that pops up at the exact moment you were thinking of something, the animal that crosses your path. Instead of brushing it off, whisper to yourself, this is part of the dialogue. Keep a synchronicity journal. Write down every event that feels connected. Over time, you'll see patterns emerging, messages that become impossible to ignore. You'll notice that reality isn't random, it is interactive. Ask the mirror question. When you're lost, instead of begging for answers, form a clear question in your mind. Should I move forward with this? Is this the right path? Then release it. Pay attention in the hours or days that follow. The response often comes not through logic, but through alignment, a book, a phrase, a signpost appearing at just the right time. This practice is powerful because it transforms you from a passive observer into a conscious participant in the mirror of reality. Suddenly, life is no longer a puzzle of random pieces. It becomes a tapestry with threads woven just for you. And here is something even more encouraging. You don't need to be spiritual enough or special to experience this. Synchronicity is not reserved for mystics or prophets. It is available to anyone who chooses to pay attention. The mirror of reality does not discriminate, it reflects. And the moment you begin to notice, the conversation begins. But let me offer you one caution. Synchronicity is not just about pleasant confirmations. Sometimes it brings confrontations. A repeated encounter with toxic people may be a mirror of your own unresolved wounds. A sudden blockage in your plans may be reality whispering, not yet, not this way. To understand synchronicity is to embrace both the gentle guidance and the difficult truths. Still, imagine what happens when you no longer walk blind. When instead of dismissing these alignments, you welcome them, interpret them, and let them guide your choices. You become not a victim of fate, but a co-creator of destiny. So tonight, when the day is quiet and your thoughts settle, try it. Ask reality a question, release it, watch with open eyes, and when the sign comes, write it down. Treat it as sacred, because it is. And now I must leave you with a truth that may unsettle you. Beyond repetition, beyond synchronicity, there exists a third signal, one so profound that few ever recognize it, even though it shapes the deepest layers of their lives. It is a sign not written in numbers or aligned events, but in the very shadows of your soul. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. There are signs in numbers, there are signs in synchronicities. But there is one sign deeper than all of these, a sign so profound that when you encounter it, you can no longer escape yourself. This is the sign of the inner shadow. Unlike the gentle whisper of repeated dreams or the playful wink of synchronicities, this sign is fierce, uncompromising. It arrives not as a blessing but as a confrontation. The shadow reveals itself in the patterns you cannot break, the mistakes you repeat despite your best efforts, the fears that return each time you believe you've overcome them. It is the mirror's final truth. The reflection you fear most is the one that rules you until you face it. In the esoteric Christian tradition, this was the meaning of Christ's 40 days in the desert. He did not battle external demons, he battled the inner shadows of hunger, power, and doubt. Each temptation was a mirror, showing him what still lingered in human weakness. Only by facing the shadow could he emerge radiant, carrying the authority of one who had mastered himself. And so it is with us. The deepest sign reality gives us is not external. It is the confrontation with our own reflection when the lights go out. That quiet voice that says, "You are unworthy." That hidden rage that surfaces when life doesn't bend to your will. That ache of envy when someone else holds what you desire. These are not curses, they are messages. The shadow is not the enemy. It is the part of you begging to be integrated so that the mirror can finally reflect wholeness instead of fracture. Think of it like quantum physics. Scientists tell us that particles exist in multiple states until observed. Observation collapses the wave into reality. In the same way, your shadow exists in fragmented potential until you dare to look directly at it. Once observed, it no longer controls you from the dark. It becomes part of your conscious being. Light is born not from denying darkness, but from embracing it. This is why mystics across ages spoke of the dark night of the soul, not as punishment, but as initiation. The darkest night is the womb of the brightest dawn. The shadow is the last guardian standing at the threshold of transformation. If you ignore it, you remain trapped in cycles of repetition and synchronicity without ever reaching their source. But if you face it, if you allow the mirror to show you the deepest wound and you refuse to turn away, something extraordinary happens. Reality itself bends, because when the shadow is integrated, the mirror reflects something it never has before. Your true self, unmasked, untamed, whole. And this is the revelation I must give you with all the weight of my heart. The greatest sign is not outside you. It is the confrontation you've been avoiding inside. That argument that repeats with every partner. That dream where you are always running but never arrive. That wound you hide from others but carry in silence. These are not flaws to be erased. They are sacred doorways. The universe repeats them not to torment you, but to guide you back to the place where healing is waiting. Before we continue deeper, I want to pause and speak to you directly. What I am sharing here is not for entertainment. It is the fruit of years of reflection, prayer, and listening to the hidden whispers of the mirror. I do not create this for profit. This work is an offering, born out of passion and devotion. If these words resonate with you, if you feel them burning inside as a truth you've always known but never dared to name, then I ask from the heart, like this video and subscribe. Join this community of seekers, this circle of souls who refuse to walk blind. Every click of support is not just for me, it is fuel that keeps this flame alive, so that together we can carry this knowledge forward. Because here is the promise. Once you recognize your shadow as the final sign, your life will never be the same. You will stop fearing what you feel and begin to honor it. You will stop asking, why does this keep happening to me? And start realizing, this keeps happening for me until I awaken. The shadow is not punishment. It is prophecy. And when you embrace it, reality shifts. People around you sense the change, even if they cannot explain it. Doors that were locked begin to open. The weight that pressed on your chest lifts. The world outside finally reflects the truth inside, that you are no longer fractured, but whole. Yet, there is still one more step. One final unveiling that transforms this knowledge into mission. Because the mirror does not only exist for you, it exists for all those you are meant to touch, to guide, to heal. And until you step into that calling, the story is incomplete. Perhaps now, as you sit with all these revelations, the repetitions, the synchronicities, the shadow, you realize something stirring deep within you. None of these signs were accidents. None of them were random flickers of fate. They were invitations. Invitations for you to wake up, to look into the mirror of reality, and to finally see that the world outside is not your enemy, but your reflection. Every repeated number was not just a curiosity, it was the echo of your soul, reminding you that your thoughts are seeds and your reality is the harvest. Every moment of synchronicity was not coincidence, it was the universe leaning in close, whispering, I hear you, I am with you. And every confrontation with your shadow was not punishment, it was prophecy, calling you to reclaim the pieces of yourself you left behind. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. The very fact that you are here, listening to these words, is itself a sign. Because in a universe where nothing is wasted, where everything is connected, your presence in this moment means you were meant to hear this. The mirror principle is alive in your life right now, shaping your tomorrows through the choices you dare to make today. Imagine what would happen if you stopped ignoring the signs. Imagine if, instead of dismissing that dream or that strange sensation, you welcomed it. Imagine if, instead of fighting your shadow, you embraced it. What would the mirror reflect then? Perhaps the life you have longed for, the peace you've prayed for, the love you've believed was beyond your reach. This is not a distant promise. It is a living possibility, waiting for you to say yes. The signs have always been there. They are not outside of you. They are not above you. They are woven into the very fabric of who you are. And if you are still breathing, then your story is not finished. The greatest chapters of your life have yet to be written. Now, I want to invite you into something greater. This is more than a channel, more than a video. It is a community, a circle of souls who dare to see the unseen, who refuse to settle for a life lived only on the surface. If what you've heard today resonates with you, if it stirred something you cannot quite explain, then take this step, like this video, and subscribe. Not because numbers matter, not because this work is for profit. It is not. It is born out of passion, devotion, and love. Every subscription, every like, is fuel that allows this flame to continue burning, so that together we can keep unveiling truths that transform lives. And I want to know you, yes, you who are listening right now. Leave a comment below with your name and your city. Let us see where this community stretches across nations and oceans, bound not by geography, but by spirit. In the next video, I may mention your name, offer you a personal greeting, and together we will celebrate this web of seekers growing across the world. Because your story matters, your presence matters, and together we are writing a tapestry of awakening. Remember this, the signs are not meant to scare you, they are meant to awaken you. They are the gentle hands of the universe shaking you from your sleep, reminding you that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are the dreamer and the dream, the question and the answer, the image and the reflection. So take this truth with you tonight. Every step you take, every thought you nurture, every act of love you choose, reality is listening. The mirror is watching, and it will return to you exactly what you dare to believe is possible. And though our time here draws to a close, know this: the signs you have already seen are only the beginning. There are revelations waiting that go beyond anything we have spoken of, mysteries that can reshape not only your destiny, but the destiny of generations to come. The mirror has only begun to show its secrets.